Hi and welcome to Outdoor Explorers Preschool. My name is Avril Grufferty and I welcome you here to my preschool. It's outdoors, as you can see, in the beautiful Irish weather, and I'm here today to give you a little presentation on how a practitioner can open an outdoor preschool and how you can bring the outdoors more often to your children than you are right now, and also to give parents an idea of how easy it is to allow your children to investigate and explore, and to be 3 to 5 year olds, to allow them to enjoy the world and nature around them. My own background in early years started back in 2012 when I decided that I'd like to set up an outdoor preschool. My previous career was in the Defence Forces for 15 years, and I knew by doing my early years courses, I knew that I felt myself children needed to be outdoors more. I did a bit of research, a lot in Sweden and Norway, and there was a preschool in Donegal in Letterkenny that I had a good few conversations with, and I suppose put pen to paper, spoke to Tusla and built a rapport with those, the design and what exactly I wanted. And so I eventually got this area open back in September 2013 and haven't looked back since. Here there's about 6 children to 1 teacher, and I do that on purpose because I feel, how on earth can one adult cater for all the needs of 11 children? I don't see that. So I love the fact that our ratios are a lot lower here. So each child gets a lot of one-on-one time. Another big hurdle that I had at the beginning, but not so much anymore, is the weather. New parents especially ask me, what do you do when it's bad weather? But in Ireland you don't get bad weather. We get kind of damp weather most of the year round, but it's never too harsh that you can't be outside. And that's what's wonderful about the Irish weather. Once you have the right clothing, you're on to a winner. You're having fun. I often see children here, especially when I started first, I'd say, oh, come on in, because it starts a big, huge hail shower or something like that would come, and into a shelter until it stops. But the children, I noticed, like, I wasn't being a facilitator there. I was telling them to come in out of it when they were in the middle of imaginative play, in the middle of learning or digging in the sandpit. And I was stopping their play. So then I learned to observe what was going on first, to see what they were up to. So like, you'd see little boys and girls and the heavens would open, lashing rain, and they're quite content. They're planting seeds or they're digging in the sandpit, and with their in a project that they're making, maybe Patrick or whatever it is in the sandpit, and they're involved in it, and their whole body is in it. They're digging and they're playing, and they don't notice the hailstones are coming out of the heavens. We have a lot of child-initiated play. It's day in, day out. So, for instance, when the weather is really windy, the children might want to build a kite themselves. So we'll make little kites, or even little, that you might bring to a Mayo game, the little strings, so they can make them out of ribbons themselves. It's all very kind of, it's what you're allowing the children to have the confidence to make their own activities. So everything is pared back really simple for them. And that gives them confidence, and they have that confidence in their belly then to go on and do more, because they think, oh, teacher is listening to me. The canvas is constantly changing here in Outdoor Explorers. Like in an indoor setting, the teacher will change the wall by putting new paintings up that the children will have created. And that's the only change that we can do really in an indoor setting. Outdoors, you never know what you're going to get. We're with the weather all the time. We don't have a roof. So we enjoy all 4 seasons in a year, and the children explore that. It'll be like hailstones, and they'll feel hailstones for the first time. They won't be told to rush inside if there's hailstones. They'll just be enjoying it with their tongues out, drinking it and feeling it on their face. And it's all a full body experience here. And they really enjoy it, and they'll be running in and out telling their friends about it and how it stings, and they'll be talking about the different feelings they get from that, and from rain then as well, and the sunshine and the heat on their skin. And like, why not accept it and enjoy it? Maybe a foggy day, you'll see the spider webs. Like, you'll see them jump out because the dew will be on them, and it's lovely to see. And then the children will want to design one, or they'll paint one, and it'll be in their mind trying to find all these spider webs, and they're just so unique and perfect and delicate that it teaches the child a lot of things in nature when they see a web, to how to treat nature with a certain amount of delicacy. We're doing geography here every day and we don't even realise it, and we're doing the STEM subjects as well. And all those subjects that we're doing naturally without even noticing are they're what will help your child in primary school. We don't do phonics, we don't do numbers. It's not part of our ethos. But children are naturally inquisitive, and they'll want to learn how to write their name, and they'll want to learn the numbers, and we will go with that. But they will know so much more that another child wouldn't know by being here. Okay, so a typical day here in our outdoor preschool would be a parent or a guardian and their child would come up to the gate and would be met by one of our teachers. So we'll greet each other and have a chat and all the rest of it. And the parent usually gives the teacher a bag of clothing, because clothing is a major part here of our day. And the child will just run out the garden and say bye to mommy, because the adventures that are ahead of them are just fantastic. So they'll head off down the garden and meet their friends and have a play, and that'll last about 40 minutes, maybe 50 minutes, depending on the day. They'll just have free play, which is so important, while we're waiting for all our friends to come in. So once all our friends are in, we'll do greeting time over in the gazebo over here. And the gazebo, in the gazebo, we'll have a chat about anything and everything. So anything that the children want to talk about. During that, something will spark their imagination. Maybe a little boy wants to do some handstands, or a girl wants to play football, or you wouldn't know. So we'll go off and we'll do what they want to do, and then 5 minutes later there might be something completely opposite that they want to do. And that's what we're here for. As teachers, we're facilitating the children. So we're just going to help them out in anything they need to do. Oftentimes, as I said, the weather will change it as well. So if it's a windy day, they think, oh, I want to do streamers. So they'll make the ribbons and they'll run around with the ribbons and all that kind of stuff. Or if it's a sunny day, they'll want their sunglasses on, and it'll be different. We'll start chatting about different topics. So greeting time often kind of extends out to the garden after greeting time. And then we'll go on and we'll have maybe a time of reflection on what they were doing. So a teacher would sit down with photos, and we could say, oh, Johnny, what were you doing there? And they'll be talking about maybe they were making silage or whatever they were up to, or they were listening to the birdies or all that kind of stuff, or they're planting their flowers or their spring daffodils and all that. So but we'll use the child's words in the reflection. So whatever they say, we'll write beside the picture. And maybe Johnny would like to write or draw what he says he was doing as well, or what he'd like to put beside the photo. And all of this is for the pride of the child as well, and the confidence, because it gives them the knowledge that we're going to put that up on the wall now, and that Johnny, that this was his work, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's our day. Then we'll go on to something else. We might do small group activities. So we'll ask the children after they've eaten, maybe would you like to go down and plant some seeds in the polytunnel? And 5 or 6 might follow that teacher. Another teacher might say, oh, would you like to do some songs and dancing with the guitar? So a teacher will bring a guitar out, and play and strum a few notes, and the children will start singing and dancing. Or even some of the children, when they have the confidence, they'll take the guitar themselves and they'll start strumming it and they'll play. And sure, it's all about experience and about investigating what's new for them as well. So it's a really lovely idea. And music, I think, is a huge part of the outdoors, and it's a huge part of early years.
Hello, my name is Janine Kelly and I'm the manager at Outdoor Explorers. I first came to Outdoor Explorers 5 years ago as a practitioner from a manager's role in an indoor setting that I'd worked at for 10 years. The idea of coming to Outdoor Explorers in an outdoor setting was a brilliant concept to me because I'd previously worked a half outdoor indoor setting in England about 20 years ago, and I just thought the concept was amazing to be totally outdoors, and it didn't disappoint. Every day is different. It's a blessing to come to work, and you know, as well as seeing the children and the different ideas that they come up with and the amazing life skills that they develop every day, you actually feel better within yourself as well. It's a pleasure to come to work.
So would you like a tour around? Okay, let's go. Come on, let's go have a look. Here we have our trike area, and here we do loads of cycling around, and oftentimes they'll bring the bikes down and explore down the hill as well. And we have here a footpath of all different textures. So they'll pop off their wellies and they'll go in their bare feet and they'll feel all the different textures on their feet, which is a fantastic sensory little activity. Down here we have some science, so the weighing scales. It's fantastic to see children weighing, putting wood in one and maybe a few pebbles in the other, and they'll decide which is heavier and which is lighter, and they'll be taking things out to make them the same weight. Down here we have our home corner. They often have little tea parties and they play with their doll's house inside, and they can bring the little dolls around for walks and all that kind of thing. And we have all dotted around the garden, we have climbing frames and different materials and structures to learn how to climb and where to position your feet and your hands and all that kind of stuff, and having the strength to pull yourself up. And we have lots of little uneven rocks here and boulders and tires over the other side. These are fantastic for core strength, balance, all these things that we take for granted, but that our children here do multiple times every day. Here we have the hill. You can see it's worn out. It's a really good favourite actually at the moment. And they'll roll down the hill, they'll climb up the hill. They have decisions to make. How am I going to get up there? Will I go up the slide? Will I go up the climbing wall? Will I just go up the grass? Every time they go up, they're using their hands. They're getting ready for writing, even though they don't even realise it. And we're doing mud pies here as well. And we have a little shop to sell our mud pies or whatever creations we make. And that's a lot of imaginative play going on with this area as well. This is our willow tunnel. So we made a few tunnels around the garden, and I think they're very important. The idea of them is that children feel that they're hiding, and that's another part of learning and a part of exploring at this age group, that they feel nobody can see them, so they have their own little space and their own little nook and cranny and kind of adventure area that they can hide, but the teacher can see them. We can see them in plain sight, but they feel that they're hiding, which is fantastic. If you want to come around this way. Music wall, are you going to show us? Good boy. We have our little orchard here, so we have apple trees and pear trees, and we have berries, blackberries and blueberries and different things over there as well. And over here we have a woodland. So during September time, it's changing all through the year, but during September it'll be really lush green, a great place for hide and seek and different things. And this time of year it's quite bare, so the canvas is always changing with the outdoors. So we have our wibbly wobbly bridge here that we can swing on. It's great for core strength. Yeah, you can go on it. And over here we have our ship that sails the high seas, and our mud bath down there that we love to swim in sometimes and play in. Yeah, so we could be going to Granny's house, or we could be going to America. You wouldn't know where that ship would bring us. And we have our climbing tires here as well that have great fun, that are mighty to be able to, the pride you see in the children when they get to the top. And over here then we have our polytunnel, and in here we plant our seeds that are for each season. So during the winter it'd be sparse enough. It'd be garlic and lettuce, maybe a few onions. But during this time of year now, we've planted a few seeds, but we're waiting for our children to come back on Monday, and they'll plant the rest of the polytunnel for the spring ahead and all the lovely growth that we're going to have. But even in the middle beds, we sometimes don't plant any vegetables. And in here, they can walk in the middle of the bed and dig and just get mucky. And just enjoy the soil and the feel of it, and find wiggly worms and different things in it, and little creatures, and just being inspired and getting so enthusiastic about finding something is great. And in here is our sandpit. So we have lots of physical happy fun in here, don't we? And as you can see, they made a little river already here today, and they bring the water from the tap. I think it's very important that the little ones have access to the water at all times. So there's 3 different taps that they can bring water from. So they can go plant, or they can go water the polytunnel whenever they think of it. Now, and over here we have our lunch in the gazebo. So we have a rolling lunch. So we just, good boy. We explain to the children that you listen to your own belly, and when you're hungry.
Mama, you're behind you.
Oh wow! And when you're hungry, you can go in and have a bite to eat. Isn't that right? It's still moving. So oftentimes they'll do tabletop activities in here, especially if the weather is very inclement and they decide that they want to do train tracks or whatever tabletop activity they'd like to do. So they have different shapes and sizes of wood purposely, so they can create different things that they want, towers or castles or anything. And then we have the heavier items here as well. That are, good boy, for the loose parts. The heavier the timber, the better, because they'll have to ask their friends for help, don't you, Cathal? And it's all teamwork and trying to, maneuver heavy objects. It's a really good activity for little ones, and it brings different muscles into the game as well, which is good. And you show us our art zone. This is where we do all our painting and our drawing and everything. So it's a lovely little indoor area for us to have the opportunity to do our painting and our writing and our drawing. If it's raining, it'll be very difficult outside, but this is a free flow. You can go in and out all you want, and it's nice and dry in here. So this is our outdoor bathroom, and we got this about 4 years ago, and it's really helped us in our everyday program, because with the little ones, if you have a few children outside and then you go inside with one, the ratios change straight away. So for a provider that would like to set up an outdoor setting, I think that's a vital part. So I'd love to show you now a little bit about the clothing. I know everybody knows how to dress their child, but to keep in mind that it's for 3 solid hours. So us teachers, we have all these children to facilitate and to look after. So it is easier to take clothes off than put them on during the day. So once they have enough on to keep them cozy, if they do feel a little hot during the day, we can whip off a top or something. It's much easier than looking for clothes. So during the summer, 2 moments now, we have them here somewhere. So we have the really light jackets. You can nearly see through them. So that'll be for September. Usually September is quite warm. It might be a little bit rainy, but it's usually quite warm. So that's perfect. Maybe a little long sleeve top and that inside on the top. And then this little trousers. And it's very light. You can see how light it is. There's no fleece inside or anything like that. And that's perfect. And then in here, so underneath will be a vest out of pennies or duns. They don't have to be expensive. But the vest is very important because it's the core heat. It keeps the body really warm, and it clings to the body. So I feel a vest is always very important. And underwear. And then after that then is the thermals. We got these in Aldi or Lidl, not sure which one, but they're great. When we're peeling these off them at home time, when they come off, the heat coming from the child, even on the coldest of days, because these thermals are mighty. They keep the child really, really warm. So maybe in September you don't need these. Maybe it'll be just a tracksuit bottoms and a long sleeve top, and then the summer outer gear. That'll be all for maybe September. But as the weather cools, November, December, be no harm to put these thermals on and then put the tracksuit on top. And I'll show you some winter outdoor gear now. And inside, they're heavy, they're real heavy. And they keep you nice and warm. And I often thought when I started first, how they're only toileting at this age, how are they going to get these off? They just, within days, no problem to them. They have them off and they go and make their wees and they're done. So that's great, that's really warm. And the jacket then, the fleecy inside the jacket. So on the real cold days, you'd have your vest, your thermals, the long sleeve top and the vest. This is for your real cold child now. These are my latest purchase. So they are expensive, but they're a dream. They're little mud monsters. They love the water and the mud, but they're bone dry inside them. Where did I get them? I can't see a brand name now, hold on. Callie Hansen. They're very expensive, but they're mighty. They'll do the year, you know, without having to change them. These are the wellies that I prefer. So all these typed wellies that don't have any lining, these look lovely and you think, oh, my child is going to be so cozy in them. But the second they get wet, they're useless. And they take about 4 days to dry. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about is bags. So as I told you earlier, we do a rolling lunch. So this means that the child needs to be independent. She or he can grab it out of their basket and bring it down to the gazebo. We have learned so much, not just from ourselves, but from the students, from the children themselves. Oftentimes I take a step back, especially in the early days, and think, am I doing the right thing? Like parents, because there's a lot of new parents coming out all the time, investigating us and all that kind of stuff and seeing what we're about. And I was thinking, maybe I'm pushing it too much, this outdoor idea, you know? But the children would always show me that I was doing the right thing. They always showed me that when there was a few inches of snow on the ground, it wasn't the right thing to bring them in, that they were having the best of crack down here on the hill, sliding down, and we'd go on a turf bag and we'd slide down the hill, and the crack and the excitement of running up the hill again and sliding down again, and children helping each other and the teamwork of that when I see that and I stand back and actually look at what we've achieved, I think, yes, this is the right thing. So that's our tour of Outdoor Explorers. If you have any questions or if you'd ever like to contact me, feel free to do so. No problem at all. We love chatting to new people and we'd love to have you come visit us. So yeah, that's a wrap for us now and I hope you enjoyed it.